Today, we're going to break down the 7 money milestones you should really aim to master by the time you're 40. And look, this isn't about getting lucky or winning the lottery. It's about building a real system, a structure that gives you actual freedom and control over your life.
You know this feeling, right? It's the end of the month, you take a peek at your bank account, and the money, it's just vanished. You know you got paid, you don't remember any crazy spending sprees, but you're just left wondering, where did it all go? It's a super frustrating cycle that so many of us get stuck in.
And this quote right here, it absolutely nails it. If you feel like you're failing with money, you need to hear this. You are not the problem. It's not about your willpower. It's not about being bad with money. It's about the system you're using, or maybe the lack of one. And today, we're going to lay out the blueprint for a better one.
Okay, we've got to tackle this belief head on, because honestly, it might be the most expensive lie we tell ourselves. It's that little voice that says, I'll get serious about all this money stuff later when I'm making more. We think a bigger paycheck is the magic bullet, but let me tell you, it almost never is. And look, the numbers don't lie. Data from big players like Vanguard and Fidelity shows that over 60% of people in their 30s are actually behind on their retirement savings. And a lot of these folks have good jobs making decent money. This proves, without a doubt, it's not just about how much you make. It's about what you do with it.
So where do we start? Step 1. We've got to build a rock-solid foundation. Before you can build a skyscraper, you have to make sure the ground underneath is stable, and you've stopped any leaks.
And that brings us to milestone number 1, which is the most fundamental of all. You have to get control of your cash flow. I know. It sounds so basic, right? But this is the exact spot where almost all financial plans live or die.
And this right here, this is the #1 enemy of building wealth. It's called lifestyle creep. On the left, you see the dream. You get a raise and boom, your savings shoot up. But what actually happens for most of us is on the right. Your income goes up, but your spending just quietly expands to fill that new space. You end up in the exact same spot, just with, slightly nicer stuff. So how do you beat this thing? With a simple 3-part plan. First, for just 30 days, track everything. You need to see where your money is truly going, not where you think it's going. Second, find those silent drains. We're talking about forgotten subscriptions, daily coffees, things that seem small but add up. And finally, the most powerful part, automate your savings. Set it up so that the moment your paycheck hits, a chunk of it moves to savings automatically. You have to pay yourself first.
Okay, milestone number 2 is all about building a real financial shield. And let's be absolutely crystal clear here. A credit card is not an emergency fund. That's not a plan. That's just delaying the problem and adding a whole lot of high-interest stress to it.
I mean, just look at this number from the Federal Reserve. It's wild. Almost 40% of adults are one surprise expense away from a real crisis. We're talking one car repair, one unexpected medical bill. That's not a money problem. That's a fragility problem. That's living on the edge.
And I just love this way of framing it. An emergency fund, it isn't really just for flat tires. It's for freedom. It's the money that lets you walk away from a toxic job, or take a calculated risk on a new venture, or just handle a crisis without your whole world falling apart. It gives you options.
All right, the final piece of our foundation is all about going to war with high-interest debt. This is the stuff that's like an anchor dragging you down. Credit card debt, personal loans. It is actively working against you 24/7. Here's a powerful way to think about it. High-interest debt is a reverse investment. See, with a normal investment, your money is working to earn you more money. With this stuff, you are guaranteeing a huge return for the bank. It is mathematically designed to destroy your ability to build wealth.
Okay, the foundation is set. Now the fun begins. We're going to shift from playing defense to playing offense. Welcome to step 2, actually building wealth.
This next one is a huge mindset shift. We need to stop focusing only on our monthly income and start tracking the one number that really matters, our net worth. Seriously, this is the ultimate scoreboard for your financial health.
And the formula is super simple. It's everything you own minus everything you owe. You can make a ton of money every year and still have a negative net worth. Once you start tracking this number, your whole perspective changes from just surviving month to month to actually building something for the long term.
All right, next up is the real engine of wealth creation, investing and doing it consistently. The single biggest mistake people make here is waiting. They think they need more money to get started. But the truth is, the habit of investing is way more important than the amount you start with.
And if you need any proof of that, just look at this. This slide shows you exactly why you cannot afford to wait. The difference a single decade makes is just staggering. The person who started investing at 25 ends up with more than double the money of the person who waited until 35. This proves that time is your greatest superpower. It's all about time in the market.
Okay, let's move on to our final and most advanced step, creating real freedom. This is where we move beyond just being financially stable and start designing a life that has way more choice and way more options.
So it is time to destroy one of the biggest myths out there, the myth of job security. The goal here isn't just to make more money, it's to build resilience by diversifying where your income actually comes from.
Man, just let that sink in for a second. Relying on one single job, no matter how safe it seems, is a massive risk. It makes that job a single point of failure in your financial life. Creating another income stream isn't about some crazy hustle culture. It's about building a safety net that you actually control.
And that brings us to our 7th and final milestone. And this one, well, it's less about a number and more about a feeling. It's about a deep psychological shift in your entire relationship with money and work.
Just imagine it for a second. Imagine your investments or a side project are paying for, say, half of your monthly bills. You're not retired, not yet, but you are no longer totally dependent. You can negotiate harder. You can make choices based on what you want to do, not what you're afraid of. That is the moment you shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of control.
So after all that, what's the real secret? Well, hitting these milestones doesn't actually require a six-figure salary. It requires these 3 simple things: having a structure, being consistent with it, and having the awareness to know how you're doing. That's it. So here is your mission. Don't try to do everything at once, because you'll just get overwhelmed. Just pick one. Seriously, just one of these milestones. Maybe it's tracking your spending. Maybe it's starting that emergency fund. Commit to it for the next 30 days, track your progress, and just see what happens.
And we'll leave you with this. Your financial future isn't defined by some big, dramatic event. It's built in the small, consistent, and sometimes boring decisions you make every single day. The real power isn't in your next raise, it's in your next choice.